Hi, I'm Danny. I'm the Flossy Raptor here on YouTube and Sarcastosaurus Rex over on Instagram. Dinosaur theme going on, and just in case you didn't figure that one out. If you see a tail flop about, there is a Tilly on my lap, purring away, having a good old fuss. She's grooming me while I groom her. If I do yelp, it's because she's just given me a little nibble. As she likes to do, usually at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm not feeding her. But yeah, no, she does like to give a groom. If you do celebrate, I hope you've had a lovely Christmas. If you don't celebrate, I hope you've had a wonderful time. I do celebrate. I've eaten far too much food. Thoroughly enjoyed seeing my parents, my sister, and my grandparents over the time, although it was quite a relief to come home to the silence of living by yourself. I think I got home and I laid in bed and I was like, there's no noises, there's no people, there's nothing. And then the traffic kicked in from the motorway. But yeah, as lovely as it was to see them, it's also nice to be home. I thought I would first go through finishes from 2024. I have finished some things, although my whip parade didn't show it last time. I have actually accomplished some finishes. I'm going to have to include them as pictures because all bar one I've given away were gifts or smalls. Oh, what you doing? What you doing? You going? You had enough? No, you're gonna stand up there. Okay. The one that I haven't given away, I can't find. The two I haven't given away, I can't find. So, without any further hesitation, let's. Oh, there'll be pictures up here. Is where I'm going to aim to have them, without hitting the cat. Hopefully. So the first one I finished was a small for Floss Friends, the April Retreat. It's the teacup bookmark from the Cross Stitcher magazine from the August 2021 edition. Tilly's gone. I finished this. I think it was the first thing that I'd finished myself in a long time. Once I'd done that, it isn't the neatest. I'm not the most proud of it, but I am very proud of it nonetheless. I finished it. My hands that 6 months before wouldn't do what they were told. So I did that. I knew when I finished it that my hobby was back. My hobby was back big time. There was nothing that I couldn't do at that point as long as I tried. The next one I finished was the Bee Mill Hill kits. This is one of the ones is mine. I've kept. My plan is to have a series of Mill Hill insects on the fridge as fridge magnets. I've finished it. I haven't FFO'd it. I have put it away safe in a drawer. I assume a drawer. I've put it away safe to FFO it with the other ones. The dragonfly that you saw in the last video, which if you're coming back, thank you very much. If you're new here, also hello, welcome. Yeah, I'm going to finish them as a series, but I'm planning on doing them all at once, so I've got the same colour backing to do it, and if I don't do it all at once, I'll FFO one, put it on the fridge, take it off, look at the backing, going, it's that colour felt, where have I put that colour felt? So do it all at once. In theory, it will be better, but I've put it away safe, so we'll find it at some point, hopefully. The next one I finished is Itchy Nose Syndrome. It seems to be a Flosstuber thing. Am I a Flosstuber now? Anyway, I've got the itchy nose, so it must be. So the next one I finished was the Sun Dragon by Teresa Wentzler. Get my letters mixed up. I finished it on a piece of 28 count Stitchy Ferret Purple Even Weave. It's a gift. It was a gift for Rachel. She's now received it. I actually finished this off in August, but I didn't FFO it until a couple of weeks ago. Apparently it's the threat of the postman coming to pick up the parcel that it's meant to be in to actually get me to touch the sewing machine. Once I got onto the sewing machine, it was easy. I don't know why I overthunked it so much, but I have, and I did, and now it's done, and it's so much better. But I had to get Rachel to help me because it's an offcut of the fabric I'm using for the Pixel Dragon Adventure. Rachel is the only person I trust to double check my measurements, because it's more sense checking it, and I don't feel silly when I ask her. So sorry, Rachel, but you get the pleasure of that. So yeah, you had to sense check the measurement of the fabric I was cutting for your gift without knowing it was for your gift. Sorry? Not sorry? The next one I finished was a round robin we're doing, Caroline Manning. I've picked the Wonder of Wildflowers, so I've done my quarter. That's gone off to Rachel to do her quarter. I've got Amy's here, which I will show in plans to do my quarter on. So we've all done our quarters, the first one, and now they're on to the second stage. I'm sending to Rachel, Rachel's sending to Rita, Rita's sending to Amy, Amy's sending to me. And Amy sent me some chocolates and some tea, which I'm going to enjoy. But yeah, so I enjoyed stitching that. I haven't been careful with the back. I knew I was not going to be stopping and starting. It's mine. My plan is to back it on some brown. That way the red, the orange and the green won't show through. In colour theory, hopefully. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And we will get to it. The next one I finished, which I'm probably no, there's no probably about it, I am the most proud of it, is the Delightful Dragon Scissor Fob, again by Teresa Wentzler. I stitched this with the idea in mind that it was my smalls exchange for Stitch in London. I took it to the Bristol Stitchy Day beforehand. Leslie saw it and said this needs to be for Lizzie. I'd been thinking this in the back of my head anyway. It got through to Fiona that Lizzie needed my small, and she agreed. And Lizzie got told, you need Danny's small. And we got to the day and I was getting a little bit anxious because I wanted Lizzie to get it, but I wanted to be part of the small exchange. Having stitched it with that in mind, and Fiona came up with a plan, and I'm so grateful for Fiona and Leslie, because both me and Lizzie were panicking that we were breaking the rules, that we don't like this, no, don't like it, and Fiona's just like, no, it's fine, it's going to work like this. So Fiona doesn't like picking her smalls exchange. She takes part, but she doesn't like picking it because she always feels she has really bad luck when she picks. So the plan was Lizzie was going to go up and pick her smalls for Fiona. Lizzie was part of the smalls exchange, so Fiona took my small for Lizzie and stayed at the table while Lizzie went up and picked up Fiona's smalls exchange, and I picked up my exchange. I am so proud of this. Like, it's 32 count, 1/1. Yeah, that's the smallest I've ever stitched. Okay, we're back. That was strange. I'll dissect that, whatever my phone has just done, in a second. Anyway, yeah, the smallest I've ever stitched. I'm so proud of the finishing. I made that cord with a power drill, which seems totally wrong. And it does now mean that that power drill has been used for two things: drilling holes in the bottom of flower pots and making cord for cross stitch finishes. So it's well, no doubt my dad has used it for its proper thing before he gave it to me when he bought his new drills, because Dad loves his tools. He loves collecting his tools and then building storage for said tools, and then he needs to buy a new tool to build the storage, and then he needs to build storage for that tool, so he needs a new tool. When I moved out, I got given 2 drills, and we don't know why I got given why I would need 2. So my sister's ended up with 1 to destroy with her pottery. She still lives with Mum and Dad, so she doesn't technically need a drill, but she does to do mucky stuff with. So, but yeah, so my drill has not been used for anything DIY yet. It's been used for flowers, well, tomatoes, which have flowers, so flowers and stitching. Yeah, so my next finish came at my next couple of finishes. I need to see if I can find a picture of the other one. If I have, it'll be up here. So yeah, I finished a little dragon millhouse kit, and I finished the I cross stitch Therefore I Am, both at the November Floss Friends. I wanted to ring that bell, and I was going to ring that bell. So I finished off my travel project, which needed like 3 stitches in it at this point, which was the dragon. And then I started and finished in the afternoon, evening of the Saturday, I cross stitch Therefore I Am. I got it as a kit from Kitty's Pretties Cross Stitch. I got it at the Royal Floss Friends last May. It sat in my drawer, and I took it out, and I said, I need to finish it. I need to start it. I need to do it. So I did it. I finished it. It's now in a drawer waiting for me to decide how I'm going to finish it. I'm thinking a little... half of me is a little cushion, and the other half of me is like in a black small frame. And it would just be a bit quirky, but I think the black frame would work really well with the black back stitch and the hot pink of it. So let me know what you think if you feel like doing that. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. The final cross stitch finish for the year was a gift for my father. I was thumbing through the patterns at the Floss Friends, and I came across the Silver Creek sampler Talk to the Goose pattern, and I had to get it. My dad's nickname is Goose. He has the moustache, just in case you needed to understand why. Work have various abuse the goose. I work for the same company as my dad, different departments completely, but same company, same industry. I followed my dad. My sister's not really followed my mum, but closer than I have. So yeah, work have I can't say it in a way that makes it rhyme, but some people can, and it's abuse the goose. Well, that's sort of, it did, sort of, a little bit. Anyway, abuse the goose sessions, where they go to him and ask for him for advice and help. So I stitched on a piece of 32 count linen. I was a bit scared of stitching on the linen because I've never stitched on linen before. Rachel said, don't be scared, just get on with it, you'll love it. I did. I do love it. I do. So that was gifted to him for Christmas, as well as sending him to Fairford for a day. So if you don't know what Fairford is, it's RIAT, and I can never remember what the I stands for. Royal International Air Tattoo. So planes, lots and lots of military planes, all doing things in the sky and on the ground for you to go and do. My dad is big into his photography. So the other thing with this is I didn't FFO it because I didn't know how he'd want it FFO'd. He's decided he wants to frame it. We got him for a birthday or Christmas several years ago. We as a family got together and got him a framing thing to frame your own photographs with, because he does fantastic photographs, not just of airplanes, trains as well, and wildlife. Mostly, I like the wildlife ones personally. Planes and trains are modes of transport. They're not that exciting. Don't disown me, Dad, please. So yes, we're gonna learn to frame that together. He knows how to do the framing side of it. I'm gonna attempt to learn to do. I think I'm gonna do a lace back. I've seen and read that that's the best way of doing it, so we'll find out. But that's the plan. And then the final thing that I've finished this year that I'm proud of and want to talk about is I made 4 crochet skull plant pot covers for my sister for Christmas. They were good fun. I started making them probably March time. I was not with it enough to be able to do that then. I was still not at the point where I could fully understand what I was reading. I put them down thinking I can't do this, which is strange because prior I'd stitched a crocheted a realistic octopus for her. And that pattern was 10 times harder and I had no problems with it and I was really, really struggling. And I came to September time and picked them back up and it was just the state my brain was in. I was still relearning all of those pathways. So you can't do something, give it time, come back to it. And yeah, it won't be too bad. I've only taken 7 minutes for this. Okay, well, so yeah, I'm next going to discuss, it's going to have to be pictures, and I'm sorry, but I am cheating a little bit. I have had an absolute stonker of a headache all day, so the last thing I want to do is put my living room back together with getting everything out. I've got a couple out, which is for WhipGo, but I'm not getting out to show you a couple of stitches because apart from the Level Up Wedding Sampler, the rest of them got in basically a thread to consider them a start and then get back onto the Level Up Wedding Sampler. Well, the crochet skulls and then the wedding sampler once I'd finished those. But yeah, I will start talking about my 12 starts to Christmas. I did succeed. The last one was on the 24th, cutting it a bit close. Well, I don't know if I am actually, because some people are still going with it. But in my mind, the 24 starts to Christmas have to happen before Christmas. But it's your thing, your rules, like WhipGo, your board, your rules, which I'm doing for the first time ever this year. Because I decided that give it a try. Why not? So my 12 starts, I'm going to insert pictures of them. So the Level Up Wedding Sampler, I consider it a start once I finish the treasure skull up in the top right corner, which is a picture of it here. It's currently sitting at around 60%. I'm going to say 60 because on the master pattern, obviously for the sampler, it's got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I've taken that alphabet and I've changed it into the names of my friends. So I've marked all that black cross stitching as complete. And obviously my friends' names aren't both 20, neither of them are 26 letters long. Even if you include the surname, they're not 27, 26 letters long. I think even with their middle names, they're not 26. Anyway, they might be actually with the middle. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so the pattern keeper is obviously counting the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on and so forth, X, Y, Z. I'm not doing that backwards, mother. So it's 7 and 5, 8 and 5. I can count. Both my hobbies include counting. Of course I can count. Anyway, so it doesn't quite add up, and it obviously doesn't count the back stitch. And I've been doing the back stitch as I've been working down. Cat's playing with a shopping bag. So that's where it's sat at the moment, around 60%. Pattern Keeper also has very kindly for me cut off the very bottom row of the pattern. So I will get to 100% on Pattern Keeper, and then I've got another row to do, which is just 2 shades of green, to be fair. So it's not going to be that hard to do. But that's where that one got to. The tiny wheel then next picked Sparkling Peacocks, which I had decided that in order to do, I had to make myself a pair of grime guards to go on my long millennium bars, which is what it's going to go to eventually. I got to the point of mostly being ready to stitch, having got that table clear of everything, when I realised I could just, I'm only doing the centre part, I'm not going to get to the point where I need the millennium frame, so I can just do it on a QSAP. So that's what I did, and that's where I got to. It's at a 0.24%. It's about 42,000 stitches, and I'm not sure if that's Saga counting the back stitches as half a stitch or 1 stitch, or if it's counting where I've done a long thing on the pattern when I was digitising it, where that's counting that as 1 or 1 for each square. But it's about 42,000 stitches, beads included. So that made it that far. I then on the same day started Peacock Cushion by Country Garden Samplings. Yes. I'll put it if I'm wrong. Got that to 1/4% basically. That stitch 1/2 on 40 count. It's my first time stitching on 40 count. I think I'm going to need a magnifier because I kept hunching over it like this, trying to get it closer to my face. So I did also have the bit I was stitching on right at the top of the Q-snap, so it's as far away from me as it possibly could be. So it might be a case of just organising my stand a little bit better, which I can do. So I then, on the next day, I started Dinosaur Forest, which is an Owl Forest Designs pattern. I got that to, Peacock Cushion, sorry, I got to 1.93%, so essentially 2%. Dinosaur Forest I then got to 1.79%. That was good fun with the variegated thread. That I was thoroughly enjoying. It's going to be my first big piece. No, it's not. I lie. Technically, it was my first big piece with only variegated thread. However, I think my first one to finish is going to be Wings of Change. So I then realised that I was not in a position to be able to stitch the Rudolph Millhill, the Jim Shaw one. I looked at the pattern and it's far too much confetti, so I'm going to need to digitise it. Morty did suggest emailing the people, the company, to see if they'd send me a PDF of the pattern. I've yet to do that. It is on my to-do list, which is slowly getting shorter because I have decided that if it's taking up brain space when I think of it and it's taking up brain space, just do it. And it's helped a lot, actually, getting things out of the brain. And there. So either finished or written down or in a position where nothing else can be done with it. So when you set an alarm, whatever, just it's not up there anymore. It's not taking up space. It's not taking up energy. It's not stressing me out. So I need to get that done. That might be tomorrow's job. No, I've got to finish putting the kitchen together. I got a new microwave for Christmas, one that can proof dough. So unfortunately, it is considerably larger than my previous microwave, so it won't go where that was. So I'm having to rearrange the kitchen. So yeah, I started Luna Mystica instead, which was a vote. When I had a look the following morning, Luna Mystica was winning. By the end of the 24 hours of my Instagram story, Olivia, the Forest Witch, had actually won, but at that point I'd already started Luna. So Olivia will be started at some point next year. My plan always was to start her after I'd finished Bellatrix because they're sisters. So yeah, Bellatrix is hopefully going to be finished this year. But I'll just plans. This is not plans. The next one, I got Luna Mystica to 0.89%. God, I'll put my teeth in one day. So she's officially got more done on her than her sister. If I'd thunked about it, 2 seconds. If I'd thunked about it, I would have started her on the winter solstice to perfectly mirror her sister. I did not. I didn't think about that. I realised it after I'd started her, but this is where she's at. And then the next one, I got a whole whopping 0.02% on Dragons of Zabat. Oh, yeah, this one's going to take a while. I mean, it is going to be my Myth and Magic piece once I've finished the piece I'm using for it at the moment. So that 250,000 black stitches hopefully won't be as much of a chore. My plan is to work across the top, and then hopefully when I get to a dragon I can then start working my way down into the middle when I fancy a different bit of stitching on it. but I am planning on working colour by colour for the most part. And then start number 7 was Holiday Dragons. Now this one I do have to show for you because I changed the fabric and it is not a piece of fabric I had in my stash. It is a piece of fabric that I bought from Coffee Craft's new website. And it is a stunning, hang on, let's see if this is the right way around. It's a stunning, that's not going to show it quite nicely. But it is a beautiful 32 count, beautifully pale green, even weave. No, linen, opal linen from Megan. I work on linen once, and that's all I work on apparently. No. My plan is in theory, half of it should do for dragons, if I've measured right and Rachel's measured right. Rachel also, Stitch Ecology also started this. My plan is to work across the pattern so then I can measure 3 inches from the edge of where I've stitched and then cut. And then hopefully I want to use the rest of this for dew drop if she fits once it's been trimmed, but I'm not playing that game until it's ready to do that. So that fabric did change. Tundra ended up being used for fabric order. But on Holiday Dragons, I got to 1.3%. I then dropped something. I then did Wings of Change, which I got to 1%. That was stitched 1/2 on 40 count again. That was Stormy Skies by Crafty Kate, which is a stunning piece of fabric. And I want to stitch the entire Fabulous House series on it. So whatever's left from Wings of Change will get used for whichever house I decide to do first. After that, it was the Reindeer from the Year in the Woods series by Cottage Garden Samplings. I believe it's them. Yeah, it is them. Hang on. Yes, Cottage Garden Samplings. I went to check up my phone, which I'm filming on, and then I realised I could check it on my tablet, which is to the right of me. But yeah, so I started him. That's as far as I got. I started off in the antlers because there is an errata that came out last year. It came out at some point. There was an errata that basically the symbol one of the symbols they used in his horns was actually for a different colour, and it's meant to be in the please hold. I can't be very helpful if I don't tell you what colour. So the pattern, it's got it charted in 945, and it's actually meant to be, I believe, in the Weeks Dye Works. I believe. So the Weeks Dye Works, the Gentle Arts. But I'll put the correction in the description if anybody needs to know it or wants to know it. So that was Reindeer. I got that to not 99.99%, even not 99%. That'd be bloody good going. So essentially 1%. I then started fabric order, which is what I used Tundra for in the end. So fabric order, I'm doing the green variant because green is my favourite colour. I use green. I don't know if that's coming across particularly well. I got him to 0.69%. And then after that, I started Fantasy Triptych. So I've done a bit more of the... So as the pattern stands currently on Saga, I've got it to 0.18%. I have, however, added a bit more because I've added their names underneath with the date and their phrase they wanted. So the pattern on Saga is no longer accurate because I'd stitched that before I'd made those changes. I still haven't customised the centre panel to be their wedding venue. I've got a much better idea now of what I want to do and the rule of thirds. So their property that they're getting married in is unfortunately quite short. It's long and short, so it doesn't really work in a portrait thing. So, but I know which bit of the building they want, and luckily the bit of the building they want, or rather Rhiannon wants, is in front of a beautiful quartered garden with a fountain. So my plan is garden bottom 2/3 with the fountain at about a third down, or maybe further down, a quarter from the bottom up in the 2/3, whatever that maths is. I'm not doing it. Sorry, but I'm not. You're gonna have to figure it out for yourself, if you care. Do the fountain. So basically, the fountain's taking up a third, but it's from a quarter from the bottom and just near the top, and then have the house along the top third, and then the sky, roughly. That's my plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. I've never been particularly good at proportions. Proportions. Never been good at it. And anyway, I got that started on the top arc. I'm moving middle to the left, and once the level up wedding sample is done, it will go onto the 17-inch Q-snap bars, so I can work on a length and just work my way down. I'm still probably going to get the knight finished, then get the lady finished, which gives me a bit more time to finish off the centre thing. The centre motif. My final start was Celestial Sleigh, and I cannot give you a percentage because it is a paper pattern. It's the Mill Hill kit, and this is where I got it to. I started that New Year's Eve. It was a bit frantic because I wanted to help, but I also wanted to stitch, and I needed to crochet, and I just, but I got it started. I got it done. I will probably finish that at some point, but that is in my travel bag along with the dragonfly, so that will just, when one of them's finished, the other one will then get finished. Depending on how I'm feeling, because the dragonfly's only got beading left to do, and the sleigh has got stitching before I get to the beading. So I might, just depends on how I feel when I'm traveling, I suppose, which I put out to do. So yeah, that's my 12 starts. I think I did quite well for someone who I'm not gonna say, in theory I don't like starting things. In theory. However, I've proven myself wrong on a number of occasions, so so plans for next year. I'm doing WhipGo for the very first time. I've not done a Canva or a Notion for it. I'm working off a good old spreadsheet. So the numbers that have been called are 11 and 20. Now, my 11 is Holiday Dragons, which I will show you again. I believe it's that way up. No, it's that way up. So hopefully you can actually see that. So that's number 11. And number 20 is Wings of Change, which is what I was saying, that it's my first, about Dinosaur Forest being my first project that's variegated thread. It was my first to start, but I think Wings of Change will get finished first. That's as far as I've got with him. Her. And my goal for all of my projects on WhipGo is 1,000 stitches into each. How did I fold this? Like this. Okay. 1,000 stitches into each. And if I finish the project before it's called, then I will spin the wheel and pick something else from that's similar in category. So for argument's sake, I finish Bellatrix. I will spin the wheel from Sol Tropica, Luna Mystica, Andromeda, and Dewdrop, who's going to be started this year, and Olivia. I will spin the wheel, and whichever one wins the wheel will get 1,000 stitches into her. That's my plan. I would like to get Bellatrix finished this year, but I think So my current focus piece is the Level Up Wedding Sampler. Once that's done, which to be fair I'm over halfway, and now I'm not swapping and changing to other projects, it should get on a bit quicker, hopefully. Knock wood. And after that is finished, I will be... Can I get this without... No. Yes. So that is Peachy Keen, which is Amy's round robin. So once Level Up is finished, I will be working on Peachy Keen. I haven't looked to see how she's done her back. I will do that probably about a week before I start it, that I know I'm going to be done with that and I'm starting this, just so I can start formulating a plan on how I'm gonna stitch it. Because while I don't mind the back of mine being messy, I don't want to mess up someone else's round robin. So if they've done it neat, I will do my best effort to keep it neat as well. If they've done it messy, I will try my best not to be more messy than they have. So those are the things that I will be doing. If by some miracle I finish those before my next video, which I'm planning monthly, so end of January, if I finish those both of those before the end of January, my project focus piece will be Fantasy Triptych. I will also be starting the Animals Tree of Life by Climbing Goat Designs. I'm working on her James Webb Space Telescope, so massively overdue. But I'm working on it and thoroughly enjoying it. And I saw this came out, and I just it's my cup of tea. Altogether, my cup of tea. So I'm going to be working on that and attempting to keep up to date. I don't have a piece of fabric. I've literally made the decision today. I've thought about it for the last 2 weeks, and today was that, right, no, we're doing it. It's been in your basket for 2 weeks. You've not decided you don't want to do it. You still want to do it. Do it. So I'm going to look through my drawer, and I would like to do a 32 count. 32 count 2/2. That seems to be my sweet spot that I'm enjoying at the moment. But yeah, so that's my plans for 2025. This is a much shorter video. This is much better. Hopefully I've not spoken so fast that my only chance to edit is really awkward freeze frames, but we shall see. I'm going to insert one of my favourite pictures of Tilly, because everybody needs to understand the majesty that is the Queen Cat. She's so fluffy. And I hope you enjoyed your stitching, or whatever it is you were doing while you were watching me. I hope you enjoyed watching me. And, well, I've done it twice, so third time's a charm. Hopefully I'll see you all at the end of January.